entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
No. Right, I'm ready when everyone's ready. Oh, shit, we live. What's up? We're okay. Are we going? B, we going?
We're in it. Let's go.
We're in it. All right, what is this? Week 11, Prime Minds. Saturday. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day here where I am at, so I'm enjoying the day. Shit, we're here. We're here. You know the Prime Minds. You know us well if you've been tuning in. Gonzaga, Vita G, Z Mackin. This is your homie, King Dav. And by the dip, taking the day off. Blessings to Dip. Blessings to all of us in the fam. Blessings to everybody listening in. Everybody has to spend some family time. So by the dip, we miss you, bro. But we will see you next week for sure. It's Saturday, y'all. We're here. We're back again 11 weeks in a row. How you guys feeling? Like, I want to say, you know, we're a transparent show. We're talking about the community sentiment. We definitely cannot neglect what's going on in the Discord with the community sentiment. While we are all here because we love the project, we're bullish on the project. I think overall, at least I know I am. It kind of, I want to say, what's the word? I think a demoralized look in Discord, and just to put it frankly, to me. But I want to ask the Prime Minds. I mean, we're all here. We discuss these things every week. What are your feelings? What's your outlook about the overall sentiment of the project? But also, you know, what's your outlook on the future of the project? What you guys thinking? And how you doing?
Yeah, this is Gonzaga. I'm feeling good about the project. That video and the lore is amazing, and it's really got me fired up. I'm still not seeing that communication, though, and people are saying, you know, all over Discord, everybody's expressing frustration. We are not being let in on the background of the project, and it just feels like nobody's listening to us. And that's my perspective.
You know what I mean? And I usually say this too, is like we have a very important, very talented developer, member of the project coming on. So, you know, we're going to ask them, I think, hopefully the questions everybody wants to know about and have a discussion, which I'm just excited for, you know, but we'll get to that in a minute. But with that said, we'll go alphabetical order. Vita, how you feeling, man?
Hey, yeah, good morning. This is Vita G. A bit of a mixed bag. Yeah, it's been interesting. I will say, from my perspective, I think I kind of divide the teams into the creative side of the house and then what I just call like the business and mechanics side of the house. And I love what the creative side of the house is doing. Johnny, Ryder Ryan, IceToad. I really think that those guys are putting forward, you know, their best effort and are staying engaged with the community. But frankly, the business side is lacking. They're not communicating. They're keeping everything behind closed doors, and that to me is just not. It's not why I joined this project. I joined this project because they said that there was going to be transparency, and I've yet to see that from the business side, and particularly from Zero Cool.
Yeah. Well, Vita, I mean, we know you're big on Web3, man. You had, you have the whole giveaway. You're here because you love Web3. I can tell that. I can sense that. And, you know, I think the Web3 aspect of transparency and, you know, everybody in it together is a little bit lacking. So definitely. Z Mackin, how you feeling?
So boys, this is another beautiful Saturday out here in the Pacific Ocean. I'm a little bit day with the fam, so I'm happy this morning. But, you know, just trying to weigh that with the community stuff that's going on in Discord and outside where people are talking, and trying to manage all of it, really, right? Like, we've got a lot of expectations that haven't been being met nor communicated with us so far. We got some stuff that was put out there to begin with, and the roadmap that has just not been addressed at all. So, you know, I feel like the more that this continues to go unaddressed, the more that we're gonna have the sentiment kind of build up. That's not good for the community. But that's why we're out here talking about it, right? We want to make sure everyone knows that what's going on, and we're happy to be the voice out here so that we can be heard. Other than that, man, I'm pumped about some of the stuff that got put out. Finished reading the lore, and I can't wait for the next drop on that one for sure. 100% excited about that. So, I know, like we always say, this game is going to be developed as it's developed. But it's time to move past the Web 2 philosophy that they seem to have brought themselves back into when they marketed this as a Web 3 development. So let's go, boys.
Yeah. You're right. And here we are. We're in June, right? So it's not like there's not a reason why we're hearing some concern, seeing some concern in the CA Discord, and I'm sure probably all of the Discord guild chats. Those servers there, because I see it in ours. Shout out to the Prime Syndicate. There's some relevant flags being raised about the project, where it's going, lack of information, those types of things. But at the same time, yes, this project looks fucking amazing. That last video drop was just spectacular. So it's like, just like Vita said, it's two things, the game side of it, the mechanics, the gameplay, those leaks, those are looking absolutely stunning. My take on that, and I don't want to steal the whole part of it, but with this video leak, the wallet and the sign-in was cool. What I thought was real cool was like that locker room look when you're choosing your character, and it looks like that based on the NFTs that you have, you can choose those characters, right? Someone like Gonzaga was smart and grabbed the whole family up, so Gonzaga can play each one of those characters, see what the mechanics is like. I think that's my new goal, right? Hopefully,
see which one I'm good
well.
at, which one I suck at.
See which one you can play, right? Which I think is amazing. But I like that locker room look. I like that there were some weapons in there. What do you guys think about that leak?
The thing that got me was that login process, because that kind of stuff it's frustrating to set up, because you have to have like all this authentication and server to server communication, and I mean, just getting or I don't know if it was OpenSea, but just being able to attach your wallet to your account, it was pretty cool.
And
with a QR code. That was pretty cool too.
Oh, you're breaking up, Mac.
It was like 4 seconds. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. We hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, it was like what, 4 or 5 seconds of the video. It was so quick how fast they got the wallet to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was truly amazing. I think mostly from the gameplay, we just got to see, I think, just slightly more refinement to what we've already seen. Maybe some more, combos, and the fact that we will have combos. I'm still pretty hyped on that. Yeah, I don't, and we might be able to talk with someone who had a hand in how all that works here pretty quickly. So looking forward to that as well.
Yep. Shit. Just another thing, real quick. Is Rhino in? Is subRhino in? We're talking to subRhino today. Let's bring him up, man. Let's keep talking about the video. subRhino. Hey.
subRihnoceri.
subRihnoceri.
Hello.
My minds.
What's up, man? Like, I apologize. It's a little odd day for the Prime Minds today. Like, I'm in my car. We have one person on vacation, the other person's in his car. By the Dip's taking a day off. But anyway, how you doing, subRhino? How you feeling today?
I'm great. Thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Oh man, thank you. Thanks for your work on the project. Thanks for joining. We love interviewing, talking to people that have a lot to do with this project. For one, we love the project. For two, for me personally, it's just like it's a pleasure, it's a gift and an honor just to talk to people that are so dedicated to their work and people that are just at the top of their industry. It just fascinates me. So thanks for being here. Thanks for all that you do. We've seen that video leak. We can get right into it. Anything you can tell us, and I guess there's a lot of moving parts in CA, as we know, big projects like this. But what part of this have you worked on, and anything you can tell us about the video leak?
Sure. I mainly work behind the scenes for everybody. I'm not extremely active on Discord. I do monitor and I do kind of come in from time to time and love to see what everybody's up to. But I'm basically co-GM. I work right by IceToad. I actually have known him for many years. We've been close friends, and basically he takes on all of the creative, and I work in tandem with him, just trying to make sure that we are able to realize whatever kind of is in his mind, and how we kind of put that together. So it was pretty exciting to see that leak and everything that we were showing there. I know that the battle seems iterative. We're refining a lot of stuff, but we try to surprise with a lot of detail and a lot of kind of love that's put into everything. I know that you guys noted the login process. We've been trying a lot of different things there to make sure that it's pretty seamless and like frictionless. So that goes pretty well, and actually for FYI, that's real time. It doesn't take much more than a few seconds to log in. So that's pretty nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you're logged in, it's like the game interface is communicated or connected with your wallet, and then it allows you to choose the NFTs you're holding to play with. Is that what that is?
Yeah. We basically try to figure out if you're a Prime holder and which Primes you own. We then in the background kind of attach your user profile that it's created on for the game to that kind of wallet, and then you can load up whatever you have there in terms of your primes or your champions.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you can like add and consume currencies from that wallet, or is it more of just like you can only read it?
For now, we're just reading it because the kind of the initial functionality is more around kind of what we've been showing around the Messina and then kind of fighting. So we're for now just consuming whatever kind of champions you have there, or the tokens that you have. We're just reading them. But yeah, it's just kind of the starting point for that experience.
Nice. I seen weapons in the background there.
Question.
Let me get this part out. Like the weapons, is that also kind of communicating with your wallet when the weapons come out, and then your weapon NFTs will show up with the character, or?
For sure. The idea is that you will load whatever you have kind of in your inventory there. But again, that lobby everything is kind of a big work in progress. But as you can see, week over week, we refine a lot of stuff. We have different teams working in different aspects of the game. But for the battle proper, if you kind of get really nitpicky, you'll see a lot of improvements around the board, and like everything from animations we refine from character to character, cloud simulation, all of the tail simulation as well, so they don't click with the ground, and even kind of the small things that you may have noticed that the performance is like 80, 100 FPS easy on that machine. So yeah, a lot of different details and work is put in constantly on the game, and although we're not like really vocal about the minutia of what's there, there's a ton of stuff and to be found from drop to drop. Yeah.
Sure. Mac, did you have a question? Mac,
I did, but thinking about it, I don't think it would be in Rhino's wheelhouse. It was more. So we'll go on to the next question. See what's going on with him.
Well, if that's the case, then I'll jump in there.
Yeah, Vita.
So, subRhino, just curious then, since I had a different view of what exactly you did at Jam City. So, I mean, could you just walk us through a little bit more of like what does your day-to-day look like at the studio down in Bogota working with IceToad?
Sure. It's pretty crazy to be honest. I'm involved in a lot of different conversations. So not only kind of within the studio, but in the project at large and with all of the different stakeholders. But generally, kind of I have kind of direct communication with all of the different leads that are working on the project. So everything from engineering, art, production. We basically have day-to-day meetings with IceToad and the rest of the team, where we are looking at all the different tasks that we're running. A lot of them you don't even notice, so a lot of stuff going like behind the curtains from a technical standpoint. But we have like a pretty ambitious roadmap for a lot of things, like from server technology, all of the client development, all the different iterations on the game, and all the different assets that are being worked on, being them like for the different in-game experiences, like the Messina, like open world, and all of the battle, plus all of the different assets that are being kind of pushed throughout different medium, like for marketing and for different communications. So there's like it's definitely super varied, and again, since it's a pretty big project with many teams involved, there's a ton of day-to-day communication between GMs and between kind of stakeholders for each of the different aspects. So I'm basically kind of sort of a nexus for a lot of that communication.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sort of like managing a lot of different areas. I think that you let us know that you work closely with the art and engineering teams, and so explain that, like how. And I'm kind of fascinated by it. I happen to be in like the project management industry a little bit myself, but what does it take to manage like such a complex project, different types of creatives, and like kind of what skills does it take to do that well? Maybe for some aspiring project managers out there.
I think that for the most part, it's just a matter of working kind of in the video games industry for a long time. I've been in video games for over 10 years, and then kind of in CG and animation for about 20 years. So it's just a matter of running like a lot of different projects, big and small. We actually started with IceToad before even joining Jam City, working on different smaller projects, and then like having teams of different sizes, and just kind of sheer experience of working on all these projects have led us to some best practices of how to run this kind of project. Champions in particular is pretty unique in the sense that it's like a multi-studio project. So basically we have a ton of the burden, and we're leading charge with all of the creative and the vision of the game and of the IP. But we have support from different parties working on other aspects of the game, and different kind of studios working on even on other experiences, big and small. But I guess it just boils down to being passionate about video games and having kind of had the opportunity to work on a ton of them in different capacities, all like from production, even engineering, or the art. And currently, just as a general manager, it's just a matter of making sure that everybody's doing what they have to. Nobody is kind of needing any sort of asset or resource or anything that they don't have, and just making sure that if they don't, that's kind of secured for them. Just working near with producers and with product managers, and yeah, all the different makeup of these teams.
You mentioned having an inspiration for video games. So how long have you been a gamer, and like what drew you into the gaming industry to want to be working here in it?
It's funny that you asked. So I was very keen of like adventure games back when I was a kid, playing all of the Sierra games, then and like Lucas, particularly like Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle and those kind of games. I really got into like the storytelling of it all, and being able to deploy like interactive stories as a medium really got me really passionate. But then as I was kind of going through school and all of that, I became particularly passionate about animation and CGI. So I sort of started out there. Actually, my first company was essentially a 3D animation studio, and we worked for almost a decade in different kind of areas of animation. But I was going particularly fond about film and CG which is sort of odd, at least like from Colombia. It's not very typical that industry is, I would say, non-existent. So after kind of venturing for that for a while, I realized about in 2010 that there was new opportunities in new mediums. So with the advent of mobile phones and smartphones, I decided to just pivot kind of my career and go into video games, which I had been detached for a while, but started to go and play a lot of the different games out there, mobile games especially. And since 2010, then with IceToad, we started making mobile games. Then we made a slight pivot. IceToad's been a gamer for his whole life, so he came with a wealth of experience and knowledge, not only about kind of the video games he was passionate about, but the ones that we wanted to make. And slowly but surely, I came back into the wheelhouse of playing video games. And right now, I try to combine both kind of fun and pleasure, all of the pleasure and business of video games. Play a lot of mid-core strategy games just because of the track records of games that we've been making with IceToad. And yeah, and a couple of years ago, I got hooked again on console. Got myself and my kid a PS5, and been playing a lot of different kind of adventure games throughout this last couple of years.
Nice.
That's
Do you see
awesome.
adventure? Wait, real quick, just we said that. Do you see adventure as a big aspect over here with the CA game besides the PvP?
I think so. I think that kind of the combat loop is awesome, but we want to create like a broader experience for players. And as you can have seen from what Ryan, Haido, and like Simasina and like all of the different team members have been cooking up on the creative side of things, the just kind of the sheer depth of the lore and the world that they've been making is just amazing. So I think yeah, that adventure is going to be pretty big in just kind of the broader sense of the universe and how that's going to be explored, and the strides that we're making kind of around Messina are going to have a big deal and a big influence of that kind of interleave with the main attraction. That would be kind of the arena combat that we've been showcasing and detailing and working around the clock to get something absolute top notch out there.
Yeah, that has me interested in the technical side of things, especially with Unity. And IceToad mentioned that you're always on the cutting edge of Unity's newest systems and services. I was just curious, are you guys utilizing like the ECS stuff or addressables, or can you go a little bit into detail about that, or is that still kind of proprietary?
We are using a ton of Unity tech. Even I'm not sure if I still had mentioned but we developed a system called the VAC, the VAC, which is kind of the engine that we created to make the NFTs in the first place. That was like some research and development work that I actually spearheaded last year, to figure out the best way to create like awesome looking champions. And we're looking at the high definition render pipeline as well back then, and found like a very interesting avenue with a technology called path tracing that allows us to create like very high resolution, very high definition images, very well lit, like a light simulation. And around that, we created a lot of systems. We found that was still experimental technology, even from Unity. So we had to build our own systems around that were proprietary. So everything from like an image denoiser and stuff like that usually on a 3D package like a 3D Studio Max, Maya, or Blender, they're already baked in there. Unity didn't have them at the moment when we were starting the project. So we had to spend a fair amount of time just making sure that Unity's future capability would be able to support what we wanted to do. And if it was not available back then, we just built it within Unity, which was pretty cool. And to your question regarding kind of addressables and ECS, we are using all of those technologies to an extent. So kind of Champions, I think that is like a very special project within the company, because it's, I would say, the only project that it's truly iterative, in the sense that we are making like a small experiences that can be potentially shipped, and detailing them as time goes by, and that gives us the opportunity to try out new technologies. Usually, when you are on a big project that ships like in 3-4 years, you become pretty risk averse, because you don't have the opportunity to test out a lot of new technologies. But with Champions, even from the inception, when we needed to create thousands of different primes that looked awesome, that were animated, that were kind of rendered in production quality from the engine, but created kind of for a marketplace, like we did, just put us in a situation where we had to make the best with a lot of experimental technologies, build a lot of our own, and I think that's been like a huge opportunity and something that we've carried out. So yeah, we use Unity. We use a lot of their kind of latest and greatest, including kind of addressables and stuff like that. We do use ECS. I'm not sure which flavor of it, though. I'd have to ask our engineering team about it. But for example, we created like a custom made a server solution for all the like authoritative server, for our PvP, for our open world, for everything kind of that goes on within kind of the game world. So yeah, a lot of investment in new technologies are being put into CA.
That's really exciting.
Sorry,
I just don't think people realize how exciting that is. So that's cool.
Well, it's like a proper video game. Like I know a lot of the NFT projects that claim to be kind of video game projects. The video game portion of it's like an afterthought, but we are a video game company, and we commit ourselves to creating like next gen video game. And that has a lot of technology behind curtains. So even if you guys are seeing not seeing a lot of activities drop to drop, I know that IceToad makes sure that we're always showcasing new content and new characters and new NPCs and pets and the battle and the open world and a lot of different tracks that we're working on. That's just the tip of the iceberg of what's being worked on. To be honest, there's a ton of work and a ton of talented people just working on technologies. Some of them like off the shelf that Unity and different kind of vendors can provide, but a lot of it kind of proprietary, so we can kind of build what we've promised to build and build it to quality.
Well, and I'm going to go the opposite way. So Gonzaga is super technical. Most of the times he says words I don't even know what they mean. I just nod my head and agree with him. So I'm going to go the opposite way with this question, subRhino. Could you explain, and I actually mean, like, I don't mean this as an insult, actually explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. What exactly is the VAC? Sure. What does it do, and how does it work?
Okay, so I'm going to try not to go into a lot of technical details, but basically what we wanted to do, so when we started the project, we actually kind of had like a few sessions with IceToad where we were thinking about how we could build this awesome characters, these awesome champions that were kind of all visually unique. And we're all like a CGI quality. When I say CGI, what I mean is like film, like 3D. When you use like a 3D software, like a 3D Studio Max or Maya or any of the software that you use to make film, like animated film, you have a lot of tools at your disposal. But when you're looking at game engines, being it Unity or even Unreal or even like any of the game technology out there, usually there is a lot of limitations that you have. So as a developer, as an artist, as a technical artist, you have to take a lot of compromise and a lot of shortcuts so that you end up having all of the visuals that you needed. So what we were thinking is that we wanted to create a character pipeline that would solve a lot of the different things that we wanted. We didn't want to make like leak or a drop of champions that were all like CGI made, like made with 3D tools, and then try to mimic that look and that level of detail of those characters in the 3D game, which would be like a lot of extra work, but also probably would end in a situation where what you're seeing on OpenSea would look so different and so much better than what you would see in the game. So we wanted to create like a system that allowed us to solve both problems, like in a centralized form. So the VAC is essentially like a piece of software, an engine that we built within Unity that allows us to create champions based on a lot of different parameters. So what you see with, for example, the different parts, the quality of such parts, the rarity, the essence of the such parts and whatnot. It kind of blends all of that, creates kind of that character, and then it prepares it for different use cases or for different needs. So basically, the VAC, I can ask it to create, for example, a full body NFT visual of the character, and I want it animated as a MPEG, like a motion file, like a video file, or I can say I want like a close-up thumbnail that is like a GIF file that will portray kind of its essence in the background and have like its divinity symbols and whatever, and then the VAC would basically create this this image for us. And usually, like if you think about it, like we when we drop the prime internals, we had different assets that were like that thumbnail that you see in OpenSea. It's animated, and then you click, and it's like a full body animation again, and that takes a lot of time because all of them are rendered. If you took like a traditional software to render those, you'd take hours. It would take like a couple of hours to render each of those sequences, and if you then multiply that by 10,000 or like 7,622, that is a lot of rendering and a lot of time is spent. So one of the reasons why we chose Unity is that using kind of the newer technology that Unity provided and using kind of all of this layer of programming that we put on top of it, that's called the VAC, we could render out those characters pretty quickly. So to give you an idea, we could render using like a gaming GPU, like a gaming card. We could render out an NFT in around 5 minutes instead of like 2 or 3 hours. And then we made it in such a way that that could be kind of uploaded to servers in the cloud, and we would have servers that would process all of these different variations of characters so that they would be ready for us to drop. So yeah, the VAC is essentially kind of the engine that takes care of all of that work and generates all of those visuals that you see in OpenSea for us. And then at the same time, the VAC is what provides the game assets for the actual game, so that they match kind of the visuals.
So I had a theory that so like you said, we have like the GIF and the MP4 and then our high res image, and I theorized that there's probably an .fbx URL out there that we could download our champions. Is that something that's out there?
Not really. We don't have like we're just kind of providing rendered like images and videos for now, and that's something that we want to kind of consider as we go down the road. The project is pretty ambitious in the sense that that's sort of I don't like the word like a metaverse per se, because it's really ethereal, but we're trying to provide like a pretty broad experience that will allow you to have your champions within a ton of different game experiences, not only kind of the arena combat or not only the open world, but a lot of different things that are being worked on right now. So that kind of BAC or that system actually is like a nexus that will provide kind of a means to load up those characters in different experiences. So probably you'd see a ton of different uses for those champions down the road, but it's not like we just put on on a server all of the models for each or anything like that, but it's more all generated kind of real time when on demand. So if you want to load up champion like 1,121, then that kind of the VAC would create kind of in the fly that character and put it kind of in the right format and the right specs
Gotcha.
for the experience that is being created. So it's
So
a little bit more
it's engine
complicated.
side.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Is the VAC just for the visuals, or did that also play a role in selecting the rarity traits? You know, like 3Ds, 4Ds, 5Ds, and how that was distributed.
Not really. The VAC is essentially for rendering for producing that character, not necessarily creating kind of the rarity, the tables, and all the simulation. There is actually teams of people involved in tokenomics, in the economic design, in
Do
the
you,
drop
do you have
design.
insight? Was that like, is that maybe the Toronto group, or do you have insight into like how the rarity was selected or
That was
chosen?
actually crafted by our Toronto team. They like basically how the drop was kind of designed in terms of rarity. That said, it's a collaborative work where basically I sort of myself kind of figure out what sort of traits we wanted to have for each champion, and then we were talking with the different people within kind of the economy group, and just to figure out how those traits could be used to generate kind of the variety that we wanted to create, and then kind of the like a rarity table suggestion came like as to how many parts for each champion have to be X or Y or set a rarity, and then kind of that was simulated and produced. But once that kind of database or that table of champions is produced is calculated, then the VAC takes care of realizing them, of making them kind of visual, palpable.
Okay. All right, that's a discussion we'd like to get into in the future to see what that rationale was. But I see. So the VAC is more along the lines of the graphics and connecting those playable aspects to whatever the character was or is.
Yeah, it's just making sure that they are actually kind of awesome and they
Right.
play. Yeah, that
Visually awesome. What does it stand for? Visually awesome something?
champions.
What is that?
Yeah,
Visually awesome champions. Amazing.
that
All right.
was the origin of that.
Not sure if this next question is in your wheelhouse too, but I'm very curious about this. Is how the actual blockchain where the game will live, how that was selected, and what was the rationale behind that? What are the advantages to the actual chain that was selected? And I forgot what the name of that was too. Any insight into that?
Definitely not in my wheelhouse. It's not been kind of my area of expertise. With IceToad, we've been kind of focused a lot more into kind of the conception of the universe and how that can be realized and produced. But all of the different kind of aspects around the blockchain and tokenomics and all of that have been kind of handled by different kind of central teams in Toronto and different people kind of working in the project. So definitely not my wheelhouse, and I'll probably speak out of my ass if I try to answer any of your questions regarding that.
No, that's fine. Definitely right. Everybody has a different expertise, which I think is a reason why it's so challenging for all the different aspects that are coming into play. For people to get together, and make these things happen. Go ahead, B. Do you have a question or follow up? Now, I'm wondering still, even when it comes to blockchain, like, are you someone that has been into blockchain before? I know IceToad, when he described working with you or partnering up with you, even before Jam City, that you're someone that is, that can see what the possibility of things are. If things are possible, if they're not possible, you try to see what works. You try to see what can actually be done. When it comes to blockchain as a whole, and we get it, this is all speculation. What do you think that looks like, the blockchain Web3 in the future? What types of things will it be useful for, even besides gaming? Do you have any insight or any thoughts on that?
Advice and is purely educational.
I do. kind of to be honest, Champions was at least my first foray into Web3. So I had been kind of involved with emerging technologies for a long time, and I've been kind of advocating for a lot of those even before they were kind of practically usable, stuff like virtual reality or augmented reality and stuff like that. I played with like decades ago, and I've been always been a fan, and I believe kind of firmly that video games usually kind of are in the tip of the of technology, always pushing the boundaries of what can be made. And most of my focus has been kind of in the graphical kind of sense of it, like graphical programming and all of that. But I've been kind of trying to catch up even much before Champions session of everything around the blockchain. And when we started the project, I started to get much deeper into it, and I've become really passionate about kind of the possibilities around the kind of the decentralization, what decentralization actually means for stuff like gaming, and kind of removing my game developer hat and putting on kind of my gamer hat. Just the possibility for you to own assets, or to be able to trade those assets in the market, and be able to not only invest your time for fun, but be able to have something to show for it. Like if you invest like 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 hours into a video game, you usually don't have a lot to show for it other than being like X or Y or set on a leaderboard, or if you are into like social, then kind of being like an influencer, or if you're into esports, like being a pro for that game. But other than that kind of your personal skill, you don't have anything much to show for that time investment that you have. So I think that the blockchain comes at a time where there's like a crossroads there. I think that players and the industry is becoming a little bit saturated on the different monetization mechanics for like a free to play gaming on mobile, and at the same time the experiences are becoming like cross screen. You're usually now thinking of a game as a game that you can play on whatever screen you have at hand, being it like a mobile phone or a console or a PC. And I think that nexus of having like some monetization mechanics becoming a little bit more challenging than they were before, and at the same time having advent that now we have more gamers than any time before in our lifespans, just because of the multi-screen aspect of it, just brings a huge opportunity. But the actual key to it, and why we love, or at least I personally love Web3, is the fact that you can transform that time investment into tangible assets that you can kind of sell in the market eventually, or collect, or do whatever you want. So that sole aspect, I think it's wonderful. I think that there's still a lot of uncertainty in terms of what the ultimate kind of use for blockchain and Web3 will be. And I think that there has been a lot of speculation on like play to earn and making that a thing. But I do believe firmly in like play and earn. Like you can have fun, and after lots of time and money investment on it, you can actually make a profit, and you can kind of make that worth your while, not only for the fun that you've had playing a video game. And I think that is super interesting, and that's something that it's hard to grasp is exactly how that will be materialized, like 1, 2, 3 years from now. But I feel super lucky to be at the forefront of it all, making like an actual game that is not like a very lame experience that is just kind of trying to pass as a game for players, but it's an actual game that we want our players to enjoy and invest like substantial amount of hours into it, hundreds, thousands of hours into it, and then have something to show for it. That whole kind of premise, it's super exciting for me.
Yeah, the fact that it'll be fun to play. And yeah, you just said it yourself.
I think
still
that
very
there's a
early.
ton of fun games to play, but having a fun game to play that you will actually have a kind of assets that you can actually make real money from those assets on a game that you love. That is great. Like in my experience, more than the collectible aspect of it, it's just the 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 end result of being able to have assets and trade assets from that experience, and meaning
Right.
that not only invest time and money into it, but also get back kind of potentially wealth out of it.
Yeah, and I'd see another upside to that is if someone is really drawn into the game and they want to upgrade their character, they still have value. It's almost like a trade-in. They can trade in, if it was a floor prime they got and they're really liking the way a character plays, and they can identify the one they really like and maybe make an upgrade.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any insight onto that part where if you do get a more rare champion, have you all worked out like how to balance? And these were some of the early questions. How to balance, the pay to win aspect, which would be maybe even a more rare prime versus bringing it, making sure that skill is still very relevant in determining who wins a battle. What is that balancing act looking like? If you have any insight into that.
all I can say it's really complicated. It's not easy because you can very easily put a game off balance. Even like if you forget for a moment about the Web3 and the play to earn and the real money aspect of it. When you're looking at a like a traditional game, keeping the game economy and the game balance up to up to par it's a very very complicated matter that usually like game designers have to invest a lot of their time and effort making sure that all the systems are in place. There is actually within kind of the game design team people who work on system design who just make sure that the balance and the balance of the economy work well, because you can probably screw up the economy of the game by making some changes in the balance, or you can make it super fun and but screw up the economy, or make the economy sound but at the same time make the game super grindy and obviously not fun. So it's a very delicate balance, and then when you layer in on top of that all of the tokens that can be traded kind of in the market, and the possibility for you to 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 commerce with your in-game assets, that makes it a lot more complex. So all I can say, it's really complex. I know that a lot of different people within the team work in those areas, not only like from the economy design, the tokenomics, and the game design aspects, but they have to be like all in harmony, because if you have a game that's very well balanced for fun but poorly balanced for economy, then that will kind of implode, or make it really challenging for people to make kind of the business sense out of that part of the equation. But at the same time, if you bank everything on the economy, but are forgetting about the fun, you might be forgetting that this is a game at the end of the day, and the main utility is still around kind of the all the fun and social aspect of the game.
Right.
So it's intricately hard, and it is multidisciplinary, because you need to have the economy people in full agreement with the system design and the game design people.
Right. Right. No,
Yeah.
noted. And and we understand. I understand. I think all of us do. And you mentioned it, is that we're right in the beginning of something new. So we're all new. You're a pioneer, and we're right here with you. And I'm sure, and I know, and I think IceToad, Casa Messina, they told us that a lot of things had to be overcome just to get to the point where we're at now, right? And we're loving what we're seeing.
Yes.
But from where we're at now, your vantage point, is there anything on the horizon where you think that we would have to overcome as a project in order to get some of these major playable aspects of the game, getting them going? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I know that for the last 2 or 3 months, things might have seemed pretty slow, like in terms of deliverables. But I know for a fact, firsthand, that a lot of stuff is coming fairly soon, and we're just building up for a lot of that. So I'm really excited. We cannot kind of still kind of officially kind of disclose a lot of the stuff that's being kind of worked on, but there's just so many parallel tracks working on right now for the different teams that I'm pretty sure that the next like this quarter, the next, and all throughout the rest of the year is going to be super exciting for the project. This project is certainly, as IceToad and Simesina have stated, like a cutting edge for a company like ours that like a free to play mobile gaming is super different on almost every single aspect to what we are trying to achieve with Champions Ascension, that we've had to go back to school almost to learn and to figure out a lot of the stuff, how they need to be made in an iterative way, in a way that kind of embeds the community in a healthy way, um, which is kind of different. Like in with other games from the company, we work ourselves for a few years making like a fully realized game, and then we work up to a launch. We launch and then we support the game. And this is different. We have a community even before a game, and that's totally new for us. Brings some new and interesting challenges, and I obviously can sense some frustration from people not knowing what's happening with inside the kitchen. But the only thing I can tell you is that everybody's working 150% of their capacity to bring something next level out there for everybody. And I've been super appreciative of everybody who's been holding really close to their chest their frames, because I know for a fact that they will be super valuable within hopefully the very near future.
We're holding. I'm holding. I'm looking to get more myself, but that's just me, not financial advice. But what it sounds like you are, some good hopes for the rest of the year. Why are you bullish on the project overall?
Oh man, not only because like I see what's coming, and I also see that the company is like fully invested in it. Um, with gaming studios that have multiple titles in their portfolio, it's easy to fall kind of within the cracks of an organization, but in the sense that probably some titles become more relevant than others in at some point in time. But this initiative, like we're at the very kind of spearhead of the Web3 initiative for Jam City, and we have like so many eyes and so many people involved in the project that it just excites me to be at a position where we have a company that has a ton of resources to push a project that is not like. And I've been kind of in both ends of the spectrum. I was an independent developer before I was with Jam City, so I know the challenges and the difficulties that you have to go in through when you're like a small group of developers trying to make an independent game. And here I feel kind of the best of both worlds, because we have like the indie mindset within the studio and within the project, but with all of the resources of a like structured company to back it up. So that's why I'm mostly kind of bullish. I see a lot of the projects out there, and they're either like very passionate teams that probably lack a lot of the resources that they would need, or people who are really good at building up communities but have no idea how to make like a proper utility and a proper game out of it, and don't have the track record making video games like a company like us does. So I honestly see very very few projects that have kind of the full package, and that's why I'm really bullish about Champions. Obviously, we learn every day how to grow the community, how to spread the word, and I think that this is like one of those projects that is much more ambitious, powerful, and big than even kind of the community at large knows, and that's why I reiterate that I'm really appreciative of our Prime holders, because they
Amazing.
really kind of believe and give us like a big push to strive for excellence. So
We are here. I'm a patient person. You know, the rest of the community, I think they're pushing because they see how great the game looks. A lot of people like Gonzaga say that they just want to play the damn game. But we're patient. I'm patient. I'm still encouraging. I'm bullish about the project. SubRhino, I wish we had a lot more time. All of us have a hard stop today at 1:00, but I would love just to talk more and listen to more about your thought process. Well, with that said, we're gonna sign off now, but everybody don't leave yet because there will be a word from our sponsor at the end as well. How I'm feeling is, I think I just said a little bit about it, man. I'm super proud of the holders. I'm super proud of the whole project and the developers. We heard from subRhino today, one of the more influential people in the project. It came up with IceToad, has a lot of accomplishments. And I'm just excited to see where this team is going and where this game is going. I'm a strong holder. Just me personally, I kind of know that when you're in such a volatile industry, uncertain industry like this, roadmaps and dates and those things will be pushed back. I don't want to be like, I told you so, but I think episode 2 or 3, I was kind of expecting that to be pushed back. To me, it's not anything that surprised me, but I'm still in here because I believe in the project long term. That's how I'm feeling. Prime Minds, let's go around. Let us know how you're feeling, and then we'll hear the last word from a Rhino, and then we'll take us out with the ad. How you guys feeling?
Yeah, this is Gonzaga. Feeling great. Holding on to my primes. Hoping I can get maybe 1 or 2 more. And yeah, just like subRhino said, I think as a community, we all want to see into the window of that kitchen of what's cooking. So, but yeah, doing great.
Yeah, hey, this is Vita G. I think my sentiments are really the same as what we've said here. I am still, passionate and bullish on this project. I do love what the creative team is releasing. The fact that they've actually just built it into the community that they release something at least once a week. I think that's a really good way of earning trust within the community, that we get to see what is being made, and I think that really has blown a lot of people away. So do just want to encourage more activity like that, because I think that's really what the community is dying for. But do really appreciate subRhino coming in today, chatting with us, giving some technical specs. Again, I don't know a lot of what was said in that first part about the VAC, but it sounds freaking cool, and I love the fact that we were able to chop it up. Maybe Gonzaga will be able to give us a more detailed breakdown in future episodes as well. So thanks everybody for joining.
See Mac, and I'm just here, enjoying the conversations that we have every day. Appreciative of the fact that Jam City and Champs Ascension are willing to have their developers like subRhino come on and chop it up with us and kind of give us a behind the scenes look into what their mindset is, how they go about developing the game, and how they like to keep it fresh, and all the new aspects that they're bringing into this Web3 concept and the way that they're going about developing them. So I'm just appreciative here, staying bullish on the project, no matter what we may think of in the moment. Emotions are always heated in the moment, but over the long run, they're usually a lot more level. And I know the 5 of us that are in here normally are all a little bit more long-term vision. So we're happy for that.
Yep. subRhino. Sorry, Mac, but yeah, when you're done, subRhino, last word.
no, I just wanted to thank everybody. Having kind of a podcast like this, super. It's great, for the community. We've loved building together with you guys what we've done so far. And as I mentioned, I think that things are starting to get like a pretty interesting in the sense that a lot of this stuff that probably goes in the back office that it's hard to convey and show is becoming a lot more tangible by the week. So really excited about those leaks that will be coming soon, and really excited to be here and really appreciative for you guys having me.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Rhino. We definitely do. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here with a little bit of sponsorship from one of our very own. And just remember, boys, we'll be here next week. It'll be the 5 of us chopping it up. And as always, prime minds think alike.
The following message is brought to you by the Imperial Council on Rebel Activity.
I think we're muted, right, Gonzaga?
Do you hear strange noises in the middle of the night? Do shadowy figures gather out in the streets? Do you see unusual visitors going in and out of abandoned buildings? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you might have rebels in your neighborhood. But don't worry. If you contact the Vermin Removal Squad, we will send a group of upstanding Imperial soldiers to clear out all the rebels, rabble, and revolutionaries from your block. No need to worry about what happens to them after that. You can rest easy once again in your calm, clean, quiet neighborhood.